are going to get started. I believe we are at 11 o'clock. Just a few notes before we get started. We have, I believe, your...
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
I believe we have all of your phones on mute right now. However, you can type in questions. Also, this webinar will be recorded and posted on our website. And I believe handouts should be made available to everybody. They should have been sent to everybody. So and they will also be posted, the handouts will be posted on the website. Okay, so let's go to who's on the phone from the program, from the Foundation program staff. Again, I'm Sandra Flores, the Senior Program Officer for the Fresno Regional Foundation. Sarah Sobral is our Foundation Support Specialist. She is not on the call today. I know it looks like she is logged in, but logged in under her name is Michelle Murphy, our other Foundation Support Specialist for the Foundation. Sarah, Michelle, and I will be answering questions, responding to emails for all grant application processes. So please feel free to contact us after this webinar should any questions arise or any challenges with navigating the online grant application system. We are here to help you. Okay, today's agenda. We will go over the environment grant opportunities. We will also go over eligibility and restrictions for applicants. And, of course, we will go over how to apply using our online grant application system, which we refer to as Olga. Okay? I'm going to ask we have a few questions. So our first question is, how many, will this be your organization's first time applying to the Fresno Regional Foundation? So I always like getting a sense of how many first-timers and how many returning applicants there are. So let's see, are we answering? Can you see it? Are we getting responses here, Michelle? Okay, great. Oh. All right. Am I the only one? Here we go. We have, we've got a good portion of you, 42%, so first time applying to us. All right. And about 50% are reapplying. Okay, and 8% maybe you're new to the organization. You don't know if the organization has applied or not. We understand that. Okay, the second question. Does your organization serve urban or rural communities, or both? So please, everybody respond. This will just take a moment, get everybody to populate which is applicable. Right, here we go. We have mostly rural, 70% rural, and 83% mostly, all our organizations are doing both. All right, great. That really is mostly rural. All right. Our third question. Let's go. Is your organization applying to the river, to smart growth, or both? Are you interested in both? Let's see who we have here. Just a moment more to get these responses. Okay, so we see mostly smart growth. Okay, that's great information for us. So let me provide some clarification since we have about 31% of those on the call are interested in both. This particular grant cycle, you're going to have to choose one or the other since the funding is coming from the same pot of money, essentially, and it's going to the same committee. So we are encouraging applicants to select one or the other. So it's about a third of you who are interested in both. So hopefully the information that we share today will provide some clarification and allow you to allocate your resources to submit this application to either one, but not both. Okay? Great. Let's go on to our important dates. So for this particular grant cycle, the organization profile forms, OPFs, are due September 13th. And this is the first step to applying to the foundation. This is how we get to know the organization and receive updated requested documents from the organization. That deadline is September 13th by 5 p.m. If we do not have an updated OPF, then the applicant cannot submit an application. So this is the first step, deadline September 13th. Then, once the OPFs are approved, applications then can be submitted by September 27th by 5 p.m. So that's when the deadline is for the application. And then we always like to remind all applicants, should you be awarded, the final report will be due December 31st next year by 5 p.m. All right. And please, if there is any difficulty hearing or any technical difficulty that you are experiencing on your side, please let us know. Type in a message or email us directly so that we can be aware of that. So the Environment Grant Cycle, goals to fund. Here we go. So this year, FRF will fund programs that support smart growth strategies that advance public health, social equity, environmental sustainability, and economic growth. We have approximately $500,000 for this grant cycle. Also, FRF will fund programs that focus on restoration of the San Joaquin River. And we have $50,000 available for the river. Let's see, the foundation took a year off of broader environmental issues, granting in that area last year. We just focused on the river last year, and our committee, which is comprised mostly of board members, wanted to become more informed about the various issues facing the region regarding the environment. And so a brief history about the Environment Grant Cycle. In 2008, we had a special consideration for air quality, and it was housed under our Human Services Grant Cycle. It was a result of a grant that we received from the Hewlett Foundation. It was a 2-year grant. It was renewed for another 2 years. So after 4 years of environment grant making in air quality, and then within those 4 years, we had a donor who had expressed an interest in the restoration of the San Joaquin River. So after the 4 years of working with air quality and the river, it led to a 4th grant cycle for the foundation. So, but over the 4 years, we experienced mixed results in the grant making. And so FRF decided to take a year to learn more about various issues related to the environment before selecting a focus for the grant cycle. After hearing presentations from experts in various fields, the committee has decided to focus on smart growth, which is strategic land use and transportation planning to build healthier and more equitable communities. So as a result of the river work, the donor left an endowed fund for our continued work on the river. So that will be an area of focus for the environment. And then after this past year of becoming more educated, smart growth will be a focus for this environmental grant cycle in an area that we hope to build assets to address in years to come. So let's go to the grant ranges. So for smart growth, again, we have $105,000 available. The grant range is $5,000 to $35,000. The grant duration is for a year. However, implementation of the program or project may be extended from 12 to 24 months upon consideration by the grants committee. So if implementation takes longer than the year, the committee on a case-by-case basis may extend the 12 months to up to 24 months. Let's go over some of the goals to fund for this particular focus area. To improve public health, increase neighborhood safety, reduce air pollution, improve access to green space, support efforts that result in more compact, economically sustainable communities, reduce vehicle miles traveled, support efforts for greater infill development and investment in existing neighborhoods and communities, preserve prime agricultural land. We have provided some resources regarding smart growth in the San Joaquin Valley on the website. Once we get to the website, we will show you where they are, but as we have become more educated and informed about this issue, we wanted to share some of the resources that we've encountered to help provide a context for this focus area for the foundation. Some selection criteria for smart growth. And these characteristics in a proposal will cause the proposal to receive a higher ranking. So, serving low-income communities, capacity building of local organizations to educate and engage residents in government decision-making processes, support for organizations to educate and engage residents in government decision-making processes, technical support for community benefit organizations and local governmental agencies, support for communications and marketing efforts to promote smart growth, particularly those that use health and economic messages, efforts to cultivate local business leaders as messengers for good planning, efforts to educate local elected officials and decision makers, support for local planning departments, support for local governments to adopt fiscal assessment tools, convening diverse stakeholders to promote communication, shared learning, and collaboration. So these are the types of characteristics in the proposals that will receive a higher ranking. And I hope we are communicating the types of activities that we'd like to see in proposals. So given the broad scope of smart growth and how we have been educated about it, and understanding that we have a limited amount of dollars, we're looking for work that's commensurate with these grant ranges, with this grant range, excuse me. So these types of, this criteria, these activities that we're listing here are the types of things that we hope to see in proposals. And again, if you have any questions, please type them in and we will take questions here in a moment. All right, let's go to the river restoration. So we have $50,000 available for restoration of the San Joaquin River. The goals to fund include acquisition of land for river restoration, restore native fish, particularly the salmon populations, and increase water flows, and support riparian restoration. These are the three goals to fund for the river restoration. All right, the grant range is $10,000 to $50,000. The duration is 1 year. All right, let's go to the next. Here we go. The selection criteria for the river restoration include collaboration with other organizations that are doing related work, programs that trigger matching dollars or additional resources in the river. Resources to the regions, excuse me. All right, let's go. We are going to have a moment here for questions, I believe. Do I have any questions? I am not seeing any. I hope everybody can hear us. Please type a yes if you can hear us, and everybody is following along, because I have no questions. Okay, so we will move forward. The grant range for smart growth. I believe we just $5,000 to $35,000. That was the grant range for smart growth. And that should be in your handout also, and it will be posted on the website. It's currently posted on the website. Okay, let's go over eligibility, if there are no additional questions. Okay, so what's the next question? Does the grant have to address all the goals or selection criteria? No, it does not, but the most competitive grant applications will include a substantial amount of those things listed. So no, it does not have to include all 3 areas, but the most competitive grants will hit a majority of them. I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry, Sarah, do you want to, Michelle, do you want to state the question?
Are these grants for Fresno only?
These grants are for the region, so that includes Merced, Mariposa, Madera, Fresno, Tulare, and Kings counties. Those are the 6 counties that the foundation covers. Okay, so let's go on to eligibility. So applicants, we can award grants to the following: 501c3 or nonprofit organizations, government agencies, community groups with fiscal agents, public agencies, and educational institutions. And next, here are the 6 counties I just referred to. Organizations do not have to be located in this region, but the services that they're providing for, if we're going to fund it, they have to be within these 6 counties. All right. Organizational health will be measured by the most recent IRS Form 990, the most recent board-reviewed internal financial statements. They should include assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenses. External audits are reviewed if the organization has gross receipts of more than $500,000. If your organization has gross receipts less than $500,000, then an external audit is not necessary. You don't need to provide one. But if your organization has gross receipts of more than $500,000, we require an external audit to review your external audit. We will also review operational budgets for the organization, and we require a minimum of 5 board members with diverse experiences and backgrounds. All right. So some restrictions. The foundation will not consider grant requests for the following: previously incurred expenses, fundraising by one agency on behalf of another, endowments, institutions limiting their services to individuals of a single religious sect or denomination, and we will not award grants to individuals in this environment grant cycle. All right. Reporting requirements, and we will review where the reporting, where you would should you be awarded a grant, where you would be submitting a report. We encourage applicants to review this so that you are clear about the type of information we're requesting at the end of a grant. So we encourage you to please review reporting requirements before applying. We also ask that you share any media coverage resulting from the grant award. And we always like to bring your attention to the fact that if you fail to submit a final report, it may disqualify the grantee from future funding requests. Okay. All right, do we have any questions before we go on to the how to apply? We are getting down to the nuts and bolts of applying online. Okay, great. Here we go, how to apply to OLGA. So let's go to our website. I'm really going to go over 5 things for the organization profile form and then 5 things for the application. The 5 items are the items that generate the most questions from applicants. Everything else about this process is straightforward. So the first thing that we're going to go do, since we have so many of you that this is your first time applying to the foundation, we need to get you a username and login. So here's our home page. There's our grant making tab. Before we click anything, go right above. You can get onto OLGA from any page of our website. So we just want to bring that OLGA login to your attention. But let's go to the grant making tab. Okay, so here's much of the information that we've just gone over on this website. Let's go down a little bit because we do want to show them where we have resources for smart growth. And here we go. We already have our handout. We have the PowerPoint that we are using today on the website, and then this recording will be posted by next week, by next Wednesday, hopefully. Then we have a section here for smart growth resources. And then we also provide you who is on our grants, our grants committee. And so let's go back up. We want to get logins for those of you who are new to the foundation. So we'll go to My OLGA login. And so for those of you who do not have one, you're going to request an account. So let's go there. And this is very straightforward. The name of your organization, the tax ID number, username, password. 1 login per organization, not per user. 1 per organization. And let's say I think we had 8% of you who didn't know if you had applied or not before. Let's check to see if your organization has a login already. So you're going to type the organization here. And we're going to use this as an example. You'll hit search, and you will see Fresno Barrios Unidos is in our system because we have a tax ID number. So one of 2 things then should occur. You should find out who has the username and password in your organization if you check and it's in here. And if you don't know and it needs to be reset, then you need to call Michelle or Sarah, and they will help you reset it. Do not create a new one. So let's go. And we have our username and password now, whether you're new or you confirm that the organization has one or not. So let's log in. Let's go back in, My OLGA login. Let's put your username, your password, and let's sign in. You will get the hello page from Sarah and from me. And you're going to, so we're going to show you 2 places here. My OPF, this is where My OPF and grant applications are. But right to the right of it, My grant reports and funded grants, that's where we recommend that you go and look at reports. And so you would go here if your organization has submitted a final report in previous years, it will be under My Funded Grants in one of those grant cycles. But let's open Submit Report, just so that you see what a brand new report looks like, and go down, mostly go down to the right here. this middle section where we're asking for demographic information. Go up just a little bit, Michelle, please. Here we go. So this is the type of information based on your project or program, should it be funded, that you should be collecting throughout the year. And so this is really where we want to bring your attention to. All right, let's go to MyOPS. You can browse around in there once you get your username and password and look at that report more carefully. All right, again, there should be one organization profile form per organization. So for those of you that are returning, no creating a new one. You want to update what is in here. And the first thing I'm going to bring your attention to is our two buttons, the View button and the Edit button. Now, if you are updating your existing profile OPF, then you're going to go into Edit here. If you don't have anything here, you're going to create an OPF. Okay? So let's go into Edit. So we're going to update the information when we're in Edit. Let's see here, my screen, there we go. And so we're in OPF now, and I have the five, part of the 5 things I'm sharing with you. We did one, is the View and the Edit buttons on the previous page. The second thing I want to bring your attention to is this timer at the very top. You will time out if you do not refresh this page. So we have put this timer on here to bring to your attention that anything that is populated on this page, if it is not saved within the time limit, you will lose it. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing I'm going to bring your attention to are the attachments. So let's go down. This is very straightforward. We're not taking time here. But there is a section where we request a significant amount of documents. So the first thing is, here's the section where you put your attachments. No symbols when labeling your attachments. Olga reads it as language. So no symbols, no ampersands, no periods, no symbols whatsoever in your attachments. And if you go to how do I name my attachments, it's the number 1 right there. We give some examples, you know, your org name, the 990 and the year, the org name, the audited financial and the year. So please use this format with no symbols. It will be very helpful to us so that we can open the document to review. The next thing I'm going to bring your attention to here are the hover buttons. So over each of these requested documents, we've provided some information. And then go to the right of that, Michelle. We've also provided examples of what we're requesting. Okay? So no files, no symbols in the attachments. So the last thing I'm going to go over is this is your return for editing or submit to FRF. While you're working on this document, and as you're paying attention to the timer, the return for editing and save will refresh your page so that you do not lose your information. But please be mindful, as long as you are in the return for editing, the program staff will not review this information, review this document. When it's ready to be submitted, you need to change the status to submit to FRF and then hit the Save button again. So let's do that. Let's see where it takes us. You'll have a confirmation page saying that your work has been saved. And so whether you've selected Return for Editing or Submit to FRF, you're going to land on this page here. So let's go back to the View and Edit mode. So then, if you want to continue to work on the document, you will go back into Edit. But if you want to see if the attachments are there, you have to go into View. You will not be able to see what you just attached while you're in Edit mode. You have to go into the View. So I started with the View and Edit, and I'm ending with the View and Edit. That was our first one. The second one was the timer. Third were the attachments and the symbols. The fourth was the label, the save and return for editing. And lastly, we started when we went into OPF, is one OPF per organization. So you're either creating one new one if you are a new organization to us, or updating your existing OPF. Those are the 5 things. Okay, let's go on. Let's see, any questions? Are we getting any questions on that? We're going to go to the application. Is there a question? Okay, Michelle, let's see what the question is.
What if we see an error in our submission after we submit? Can we resubmit, or do we call us first?
So if there's an error after you submit, you can go back in. We will give access to all applicants, even if it's in the Submit to FRF, before the deadline. So once the deadline occurs, so in this case, on the 13th at 5 o'clock, we will remove the option for you to edit. And if there's an error, either we're going to catch it in the review, or you can email us directly, and we will do a case-by-case. Usually we open it so that things could be corrected, or documents could be relabeled and reattached so that we can review them. So, so if it's before the deadline, you will have access to edit it yourself. If it is after the deadline, then we will open it on a case-by-case as we're processing. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so now let's go to the application. So here, your organization, if it has applied to the foundation before, you will be able to see previous applications in the various grant cycles. We archive that information because all of those applications are always accessible to the committee and to the program staff. So you can view it. We always ask you do not edit any of the existing applications that are in place. You will always create a new application here at the beginning of each grant cycle. So let's go to apply. And there should be 1 grant application per this current cycle. So please do not generate, again, 1 for the river and 1 for a smart growth. You have to select which one you will be applying to. All right. So again, I'm going to bring your attention to the timer, which is up top. You will have to select here the grant cycle you are applying to. So Michelle, let's go to right here, funding category. You will select the environment. There's 2 things. Let's go down again to the threshold. So $10,000 is our threshold for a grant application narrative. So the information here is straightforward, and there's a word limit for each of these boxes. So let's go down, and let's say you're applying for $10,000 or more, then you must provide an application narrative. And we have the template right here, and there is no word limit to this, but it must be attached. So you open it and save it to your desktop or your files, and you work on it, and then you will attach it to your application. Okay, let's go back to there. That's where you will attach it. And then we want to open our budget. So here, our budget template, you will open it, save it to your documents, your desktop, and work on it. And if you are applying for under $10,000, let's go to the budget, Michelle, the Excel document, yeah. You are telling us what you need. We have no restrictions over overhead or administrative costs. You tell us what you need for your project. However, if you are applying for $10,000 or more, we have a second tab for you to fill out. Let's open the financial history tab there. There you go. Please do not forget to complete this. This is a snapshot of the financial information for your organization. Please populate this. And please be certain to put the name of your organization at top and the amount requested. Okay, when we print this out, these are 2 separate documents when we print them. All right, so again, the financial history you have to fill out if you're applying for $10,000 or more. The narrative has to be filled out if you're applying for $10,000 or more. And then we're going to get to, again, our return for editing or submit to FRF. If you are working on this document, then you will keep it in return for editing and save it so that your information is not lost while you're working on it. Some applicants will just copy this whole page, put it on a Word document so you're not dealing with the timer. When you do that and you paste it back into this template, you always have to be mindful of the word count because those boxes will get cut off if you've exceeded the limit there. So we're going to submit and save, and then page Fresno, you got to enter the grant. So this will trigger. There are some things that must be populated, and you can just put test in, Michelle. Right here, the grant project needs to be populated to save this document. So let's go down. Yeah, I don't think we need to do that one. We selected the grant cycle. There we go. And for you to see if the attachments, the budget, and the narrative are there, this will take you to the confirmation page. You go back to My OPF and grant applications. Let's go there. Go into the application for environment where we have a test. Yeah, you will have to go into view mode to see if the information that you've populated and the documents you've attached are there. While you're in edit mode, you will not be able to see the attached documents. Okay, this generates the most questions for us. You'll work in your document, you're in edit for the majority of the time, and you call us and it's like, I keep attaching and it's not there. You have to go into view mode. And then we want you to go into view mode to make sure that your narratives aren't cut off in the boxes. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about the application is please make sure your grant amount requested falls within the range. Okay, do not exceed the range that we have provided. If you're applying for $10,000 or more, you have to fill out the narrative and you have to fill out the second tab of the budget. Again, no symbols when you're attaching these documents, when you're labeling and attaching these documents to the appropriate place. Be sure to submit to FRF when you're ready for us to review it. We will not review while it's in return for editing. That tells us that you're still working on the document. And then go into the view mode to check if attachments were uploaded and narrative boxes are not cut off. Okay, and then we did show you where the reporting requirements are. Open the blank report to review that on your own. All right, do we have any questions so far? We're almost at the end of this. Okay, so for submission of the OPF and the application, the Foundation has 3 layers to ensure that OPFs and applications are successfully submitted. The first that you saw a couple of times is the web page confirmation. It says whether the information is saved, okay? That's the first layer to ensure that it has been submitted. The second layer is an automated email will be sent to the applicant once it is submitted. So you'll get a notification. It'll go to the email address that is assigned to the username. It will go to that email and it will show your OPF or your application with the information that you have populated. That's the second layer. And the third and final layer is a final email approval will be sent by the program staff for both the OPF and the application, depending on which we're reviewing at the time. So, but that will not come until about a week, 7 to 10 days afterwards, because most of you will be submitting your OPF on the deadline. So we need about a week to review all of them, and we review them in order of submission. And you will either get, we're missing this, we can't open that, or you're good to go. And then when the application is submitted, again, most of you won't be submitting it until the deadline time, so we need the following week to review them and provide an email, a final email confirmation that it has been accepted. When one of these layers is missing, it is an indication that the item was not successfully submitted. Okay, So we're going to go into some final reminders. We encourage you to use Firefox or Google Chrome. Do not use Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer does not meet the industry standards for all of the OLGA technical support nuances. So Firefox or Google Chrome. Please use those two browsers. Please, your requested amounts, have them within the grant range. Do not use any symbols when naming your files and your attachments. Be mindful of the return for editing or submit to FRF status. When you're in edit mode, you will not be able to review the documents that have been attached. So edit mode to work on an OPF and application, view mode to check if attachments were uploaded and narrative boxes are not cut off. Okay, we're ready for questions. Do we have any questions? And if questions emerge after this webinar, please feel free to contact us, email us those questions. But that is our presentation on how to apply and our communication on the priority for this environment grant cycle. And we don't have any questions. I hope everybody's out there. Okay, well, thank you all for your time. I hope this has been helpful. This webinar will be on the website. This recorded version of the webinar will be on the website next week. The information that is already in place is on the website that we use. This PowerPoint and the handout are already on the website. And feel free to contact us for any questions that you may have. Oh, great. We have one question. Somebody's out there. Great. Go ahead, Michelle.
When will awards be announced?
These grants will go to the, I believe, the December board meeting. So these grant awards won't be announced until by the end of December. So that's when they will be announced. That's it. All right, great. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend, and we look forward to reading about your projects and the good work that you're doing in this community. Thank you. Bye.